Not last month, not next month. Why? Now. Management holds all the cards. They decide when to go public, they decide what news to release, and the incentive to overhype is powerful. Founders of companies talking about their companies are like grandmothers talking about their grandkids. They're excited, enthusiastic, and optimistic. And that's just fine. They should be excited, enthusiastic, and optimistic about their companies. But most people don't want a sales pitch from that kind of guy. They want straight talk from someone who has done this before with a reputation for doing it right. They want someone who has a lot to lose if he messes up this deal. Investment banks fit the bill. Potential investors can check their track record. Those investment bankers need investors to say nice things about them after the deal to potential future clients. They can't afford to ruin their reputation. I've been saying investment bank as if IPOs involve only one such firm. That's fine for smaller issues, but for larger issues, the firm assembles an underwriting syndicate. An underwriting syndicate is a collection of investment banks that pool resources to sell new securities to investors. The lead underwriter might be some firm like Goldman Sachs, and other participants might be Citigroup, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, or smaller firms like SunTrust Robinson Humphrey or Raymond James. The underwriting syndicate's job is to get the securities into the hands of investors and to get the proceeds from the sale into the issuing company's coffers. The lead underwriter does the heavy lifting. It'll analyze the company's financial statements in light of current market conditions, project its future earnings, and with the help of potential investors, determine the number of shares to be sold and the offering price. That's a tough job, and the skills needed to do it don't come cheaply. The total sales charge for the shares is around 7 or 8% for IPOs. Sometimes just a couple of successful IPOs or stock offerings a year can be enough to meet an investment banking firm's earnings targets. It's not just tough, highly skilled work. It's boom and bust work too. If you enjoy working 8 to 5 and then clocking out to enjoy life, then a career in investment banking is not for you. During the boom near the end of the 1990s, investment bankers were working incredibly long hours and making huge sums of money. But when the market collapsed in 2007 and 2008, even the best investment banking firms struggled mightily. Many failed, including the venerable Lehman Brothers, with roots tracing back to the 1850s. Job losses in the investment banking community soared as the underwriting industry came to a standstill. A lot of the syndicate's work isn't financial at all. It's legal. Somebody needs to complete and file dozens of complex documents. For example, a company will probably file several iterations of the registration statement, known on the street as the red herring. The red herring is a preliminary registration statement filed with the SEC. It gets its name from a passage in red stating that the company is not attempting to sell its shares yet. Think of a red herring as a rough draft of what will finally happen. It describes the new issue of stock and takes a guess at how the issuing company will do in the future. When I say takes a guess, I'm not being critical. At this point of the process, nobody knows the value of the securities. After all, they do call it a red herring. Any number that's in the red herring would just be a guess. I'd know it's a guess, you'd know it's a guess, so does everyone else. Most of the time, a red herring doesn't even have the price or number of shares to be sold. The red herring will be revised several times as the underwriting process proceeds. If you found an old coin in your backyard, how would you set about determining its value? You'd probably show it to people who know about such things, including a few potential buyers. That's what investment bankers do with an IPO. They call it the roadshow. They travel around the country delivering presentations designed to drum up interest and to answer questions from potential investors. They're gathering information too. By listening to the potential investors, the investment bankers begin to get a feel for what the offering price should be.